are really fortunate to have our chief guest, Dr. Pramod Chaudhari. I feel lucky to introduce him and his achievements. Dr. Pramod Chaudhari, founder and executive chairman, Praj Industries India, is also referred to as the ethanol man in the industry. Praj Group is a global provider of end-to-end technology and engineering solutions for bioengineering, biochemical, and biopharma industry with strong backing of the world-class state-of-the-art R&D center, Praj Matrix. He is a champion of the powerful premise that innovation and entrepreneurship can change the world for the better. Dr. Chaudhary is an alumni of Harvard Business School. Uh, Apart from his big list of achievements and awards, the recent ones include prestigious George Washington Carver Award 2020 by BioImpact, Washington, D.C., USA. Not forget to mention, he is the first Indian to have received this global honor. Delit by Tilak Maharashtra Vidyapeeth as a recognition of his exemplary contribution to the biofuel industry worldwide and for establishing and institutionalizing quality benchmarks of Indian products and services at global level. And the Distinguished Alumni Award and Distinguished Service Award by IIT Bombay, and the list goes on and on. Dr. Chaudhary is also associated with many eminent organizations holding prestigious positions from time to time.
Okay, now we would like to invite Dr. Sonita Karat ma'am, Director ICT and Dean Management, MIT University, to welcome our chief guest for the day.
As stated earlier, Dr. Chaudhary's recognitions and expertise are too huge to be portrayed in one single speech. We are really fortunate to have him on our inaugural program and would like to now request Dr. Pramod Chaudhary sir to address the gathering.
Very good morning, friends, dignitaries on the dais, those who are online. A warm welcome from my side. I thank IEEE and MIT, ADT University for inviting me to this inaugural function of IEEE PuneCon 2021. The international conference. The conference title, what I like most is the conference title, and innovation in engineering, design, and holistic education. It's a 4-day program, and my compliments to the organizers. I was just listening to the speech of the president-elect of the IIE for 2021. And what really touched me was that it's a professional home. I think that's something is really wonderful concept. And profession, not only EE, but from all walks of life. And that makes my job more easier and interesting now, that really, if they are really going to cut, because all the time I was concerned about this EE part of it. That first two E's are rather, they were the optional subject for me in IIT Bombay. I was always wondering how to address that. So now I'm feeling a little better. Though you tried to explain to me that you cover the variety of things, but coming from your president, I got a little more courage. Yeah. It was also good to know that it is the largest professional organization. And of course, the MIT ADT is definitely a premier institution engaged in not only arts, design, or technology, but now with a strong more or less balancing the remaining population. Only the School of Engineering is that big. So compliments to you. And your first batch is already out. Both of them coming together for this international conference is a Dudak Sharkara Yoga. This is definitely very important. And the title, as I say, is very close to my heart. A lot of creativity and commitment apart from innovation is expected from the organizers, and some of the abstracts and other things, the list of the speeches. I think it is happening here. Very interestingly, this is the only part, this session is in physical form. Rest of all the sessions are coming as online. So I don't know, I think we feel privileged that we are having this session in a physical form. Give the chance to really put a proper face, physical shape and size to the whole function. What does this indicate? The important practice which has become very common in last 2 years, and that is the fallout of the COVID pandemic, that does change the way of we do the things. Use of digital technology has really created a major impact on all the happenings around us. Despite a continued series of lockdowns, the wheels of economy continue to roll. WFH, I'm sure everybody is aware of WFH, work from home has become the buzzword. Digitization has really spread all across the globe. It has really faster than even the COVID, the way COVID has spread. I think the digitization has really spread much faster than that. And that's the reason I think we're able to really communicate, perform, and really work towards various dimensions. Many activities have continued to catch up with full speed, practically, and now that's become a way of life. This has also helped integration of variety of arms into technology. The Internet of Things, of course, the known arms of things are mobile technology, Internet of Things, automation, social media. All these are now really working together to deliver the required results or required actions. I was just wondering if this was not available, what would have happened in their absence? How would we have really managed to be back to normalcy? The way they got adopted, and all the technologies which are now happening, whether it is AI, ML, IoT, even hearing now there's blockchain, they are really become a part of our day-to-day life. When I look at my organization, in our activities, we have adopted them pretty fast also. We finalized many contracts on Zoom. We could convince the customer to accept our proposals. We monitored the project progress in different parts of the world. You know that we are operating in more than 100 countries, and still we could manage to perform. We remotely commissioned the process plants, and we also provided O&M services to our customers, that all across globe. This is a direct example and benefits to my organization, and I'm sure this is not exception. This is happening in many of the organizations. that they are able to operate in this manner. Industry 4.0 concepts got real good opportunity, scope, and push to propagate to the fullest extent. You know the journey of industry 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, and 4.0, which has become a and the amount of innovation and adaptation happened in these fields during past 2 years has really at the breakneck speed. Above happenings, they also brought many changes in the education field. And that's where this marriage becomes very, very relevant. On contents, way of delivering the contents, and the way we assess the performance of our students. So all the three parts. On top of it, transformation in line with the NEP. While this transformation is happening, even the transformation as outlined by NEP is also happening simultaneously. Though it's taking many imperatives into account previously, it is to include pandemic outcome, what I described. It's something like NEP extra. I don't know whether the NEP proposal or report has been modified to adopt this extra thing which happened, which we have seen in education space. And I'm sure that your school management is definitely putting, though it is not forming the part of NEP, but maybe that extra which is playing an important role. So far, we have touched upon innovation in engineering and design, technology and its application. Now, I would like to also dwell on the title of the subject, Innovation in Holistic Education. The place where I'm standing, I had visited this place a couple of times in the past, and the last one was very interesting. Professor Vishwanath Ji Karad personally took me around to show and describe what's his vision and how we are trying to convert into reality. This campus is really very serene because first thing of the greenery, though one can also remember that masterpieces in film, they were made, produced here. And if you visit the museum of Raj Kapoor, you realize that he himself is known to pursue holistic education. The title of World Peace. I think the World Peace engulfs variety of aspects. And that's also being replicated into the type of education. The explained principles are explained about how it is holistic in terms of yoga or all other human skills, disciplines. It's not only for different academic skills like art and all that, but it's also beyond that. Keeping human being and humanity at the center of it. That's very important. And that's what makes this university different. Compliments to you, Madam and Mangesh-ji, for pursuing his dream in reality. And I think that is very, very critical. Very few universities in the country or outside the country can boast of this kind of approach. To inculcate values among the students, spiritualism, and in the other campus, you see other areas like public governance and all those disciplines are also being pursued. So MIT into these three places, whether it's Rajbagh, whether it's Alandi, or whether it's Kothur, everywhere they're having some kind of a common thread of this aspect of holistic education. I think you are leader in this area, much envisaged before it is becoming now compulsory. That's the best part of it. This is also to create impact on society, not only in India. We have many of your students working for us, and we can see the difference in their approaches. Also, those who have gone to work abroad, I think it is definitely an example of that. This holistic education and the approach of MIT bring me to another subject, which is the last part of my talk. While progress is taking place on multiple fronts in past couple of centuries, there is one threat which is rising day by day, or which we are experiencing, which has taken its ugly head out in last 3-4 decades. And the threat is called climate change. Everyone has heard of it, and I still feel that very little attention is offered by many academicians. We talk about 17 SDGs, we talk about nationally determined targets, we talk about COP26, which got over recently. We talk about net zero, a number of things are there. But how that is integrated with our education system is a matter of my interest. And wherever we get a chance, any platform, any podium, I try to raise this topic to bring out the awareness, not to criticize, but bring out the awareness. In fact, the industrialization is one of the culprits to increase the rate and intensity of this menace, which is getting accelerated. We proudly trace the industry's growth or progress in Industry 1.0 when James Watt invented the steam engine. When we talk about Industry 2.0, when the mass production techniques was introduced by American auto industry. We talk Industry 3.0 when there was a use of computers. We talk about Industry 4.0 where we are talking about AI and robotics and all those things. And there's a Industry 5.0 around the corner. My colleague are going to present our ideas in that area. I'm happy that you've given us a slot for that. And we strongly feel that Industry 5.0 has to be connected with the evils of climate change and what are the things to be done to mitigate that. That's very important. It has been established beyond doubt that climate change is caused due to the greenhouse gases to start with, mainly due to the carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, and carbon-oriented addition to the atmosphere while consuming the fossil fuels. The fossil fuels which are on the stomach of the earth, when you take them out and make use of them, you are adding all this carbon to the atmosphere. It gets trapped, and that's how the greenhouse gas create the temperature rise. And everybody is facing or experiencing the changes in the various seasons, climatic seasons, whether it is the USA or whether and it's cutting all across. It is not that climate change only affecting India or Africa. It's all across, and it's going to be everybody's problem. Energy based on solar and wind is part solution to this, to curb this climate change issues. But that's not all, because our energy requirements are definitely growing day by day. The modernization is demanding a lot of use of energy, and that energy has to be. So these are the two, solar and wind are something where they don't add carbon. Somebody talked about EV. If electrical vehicles run on the thermal power, they are not eco-friendly, because you are consuming more electricity. Sorry, I am referring to your department, I'm encroaching on that. But it's a fact that if you're going to charge the batteries with the help of thermal fossil fuel-based electric energy, it is not helping for the climate change. If it is renewable energy out of solar or wind, and you use that to charge the batteries, then one can say, yes, it is helping for climate change. So the source of energy is very, very critical. GHG by burning fossil fuels which is mainly happening into industrial usages, transportation, oil-fired furnaces. That is one block. And the other block is pile up of plastics, petrochemicals. All this is depending on the hydrocarbons. What we promote or we propagate is bioeconomy. And that's the subject which is close to our heart, and we are working quite a lot on that. And that's where we feel that bioeconomy will become a part of Industry 5.0 version 2. Version 1 is talking about human and robotics coexistence. Well, that's also the human element will play an important role. Robotics cannot run or work independently. They need that human aspect to be taken into account. The second version 2 aspect is about taking the cognizance of the environment. And that's where this aspect of renewable energy or plant-based energy, because plants represent, they absorb carbon and carbon dioxide, and that they regenerate that. So that becomes a carbon neutral cycle. And it is not far away. I'm sure it is also known to the academia here that the rating, the green rating will become more or less mandatory in near future, that you sell a product, what is the green rating? What is the carbon you have put into it? Whether this plastic bottle, how much is it cost? The first revelation came in the form of becoming more and more paperless. That was the beginning of that. But there are very many things where carbon in the form of materials, I think it is definitely going to be troublesome. And that's why the single-use plastics and all those things slowly are becoming necessary. The problem of plastic in the oceans is very, very scary. And all this balance, equilibrium is getting disturbed. So I am sure you are having a course. I know last time when I came, it was a course on environmental engineering or something is there. But how does it percolate, not only for getting the marks in the exam, but apart from that, as a value? And you have a beautiful campus, madam. So I'm taking a liberty of bringing to your notice that let that serenity add to this dimension to your students' thinking also. That you're given the plants just now, that shows that you are conscious of that. But I hope your students also are able to carry these values when they go back to their professional places or homes. And that's what we have been also suggesting IIA to take this as one of the major issues. We have two arms, biomobility, we call it. You know about e-mobility, but we feel biomobility is equally important, where we talk about these biofuels, which we represent. My company works on that. We are now developing sustainable aviation fuels. In fact, we've done some testing, because aviation is the biggest carbon producers, and there's a lot of restrictions through CORSIA and IITA are bringing, starting 2027. They have to bring down the carbon emissions to 50% level by 2050. And I'm sure that that's a big challenge. People are trying whether EV can work there also, electric mobility can be applied, but it's little too early. I'm sure people won't take a risk to fly on an electrically charged battery-operated aircraft. So there is a sustainable aviation fuel is a need of the hour, and we are done at Praj. We are doing some work. We are doing work also on the renewable chemicals and materials. So we have got two arms, and the philosophy of the approach is feedstock, technology in our R&D we develop and create. Not me. What is this, Arvind? Sir, are you angry with me? or it's a signal that hey, I'm wrapping up, so don't worry. So, yeah, actually, I'm talking to the last point. So, Industry 5.0 version 2, according to me, is going to be the major part of our approach, and we believe and we try to follow that. It will definitely help achieve this, help achieve some kind of mitigation. And meanwhile, these other norms of UNFCCC, of climate change related SDG, Sustainable Development Goals, and other things are important for all of us. So I appeal to have that displayed in your various places. What are those 17 SDGs? If not there, if it's there, I mean, maybe we can have some debates on those things. In our area, bioenergy or bioeconomy takes care of 11 objects out of those 17. So practically it was more than half. There are a variety of things are there. So, and that will give a good impact on sustainability. We always say, and it was said earlier also, that we have borrowed this Earth planet from our forefathers, and we are taking care of this for our future generation. So we are like trustees of this, and our job is to give it in an intact form to the next generation. Otherwise, they will suffer heavily. That's all what I have to say. Once again, thank you very much for inviting me here and for the patient listening. God bless you. Good luck.